All right, let's do this. Let's go over some load board stuff. We're live. Ooh, what a change of pace. Oh yeah, we are live for the first time in like 2 years. Hey dog, what's up? This dog is like, hey, you're talking about stuff. Oh, look at you. Oh. Anyways, good evening. I almost said good morning. It is evening or afternoon, depending on where you're at. If you're watching from the East Coast, you're like, yeah, it's kind of evening. You know, weather's been November-ish around here. I see if we get rid of this here. Work was kind of slow and nobody's answering emails and phone calls on the load board. So I figured why not use this as an opportunity to go over some load board stuff, because there's a lot going on in the electronic digital world. Now, if you don't know, last week I got hacked because I clicked on a link and did an operation without thinking of looking at the email address. They got me. Why? Because I was pulled in 10 different directions and found myself distracted. And that seems to be my life now. But I'm very grateful. You know, we got Thanksgiving, so we're showing gratitude. And I'm working with a great bunch of drivers. We're making some money out there. So it was like I didn't lose everything, but my son was able to rescue for the most part. And if you guys look, my son, he's good with the computers, right? Go to my website, Snorelord.net, and you'll see what he's created, that kind of thing. So anyways, I wanted to go over load boards. We got Big Red Chicken behind us. You see that, and I didn't do the backdrop because my son's in his bedroom and my wife's out and about. She's off this week, so I want to go over load board stuff because that seems to be what we do now. You guys know I'm affiliate. I do promote 123 load board. I do use it. In fact, there was a load booked off of it this week. So. But I also use DAT, and DAT seems to be the norm. Some people use truck stop, and there's really not much difference between DAT and truck stop. If you want to try 123 load board, it's 48065. If you want to try my code out, it gives you 30 days free, and then you don't have to take my word for it. If it sucks, if you think it sucks, then it sucks. But if you like it, the tools are very handy for me. I open it and use it every day. In fact, it's on my second screen now. Let's see. Pretty much what I do every morning, I get my email accounts on this screen, the main screen, and then on the side screen, I get the main email accounts for like trucking there in the inbox so I can observe. And then I've got our factoring company so I can check credit reports. And then also I've got both 123 load board and DAT. And that is and then the brokered load boards are littered throughout both screens because I use you have broker boards like CH Robinson, RXO, RTS, Nolan, Echo, Arrive, and then Parade. You have all these that have their own websites, right? And a lot of times, if I see like an RXO load on DAT or 123, I'll just go to their board and like, okay, there's the times, there's the rate that they're kind of wanting and all that. Um, so and as Jeff points out right here, that's Jeffrey Light. DAT has a lot of scammers. I have yet to see a scam load on 123 load board. People complain about the volumes of that, but you know what? And I'm going to show you a perfect example of what I'm talking about here. And there was an area I was looking at today where this one, maybe I can find that. Let's do that here. Let's share a screen here. Let's do Memphis because that's where I saw it earlier. Memphis, Tennessee, 125 miles going anywhere for tomorrow. See if we can find, because you got to take these results with a grain of salt. Let me get the other screen up here. Share screen. Let's see, DAT, allow. All right. Let's see, and let's. So let's add myself to the stage here. Okay. LVC. Thanks for the tip. I'll now be running my double broker scam to steal cars. That's funny. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let's see. I wonder if I can turn off the camera here. There we go. All right. My daughter's home. She may not want to be on YouTube. So, anyways, so you guys can still hear me. All right. So this is for Memphis, Tennessee for tomorrow. Posted loads for tomorrow. This is a 125-mile radius. And you see there's 639 loads. And you're like, wow, cool. So let's post this by, let's sort this by, actually, let's go to newest. And you can see there's still loads being posted, right? Like here we go. We got Oxford, Mississippi to Charlotte, North Carolina. Capital Logistics Group. 1, 2, 3, 4. Posted 4 times. And these are all cities within 100 miles of each other. You got Oxford, Mississippi, Brinkley, Arkansas, Dyersburg, Tennessee, or Henderson, Tennessee. Right? So we click on one. Loads out of Memphis, Tennessee. Right? So this is one load. Okay? This is one load. Maybe we'll put the camera back up. This is because I gotta accent. This is one load. Okay. So there's one load versus 4 that are posted, right? So let's say I'm sitting in Henderson, Tennessee, and I don't want to deadhead to Memphis. Let's say I'm scared to death of the crime rates there, so I'm not going to go to Memphis, right? So now I'm looking at this. Okay, well, it's really what that does, okay, because I can understand if the load, because I had a broker explain this to me one time. Let's say you post it as Henderson, Tennessee to Charlotte, okay? Well, do you know where Henderson, Tennessee is right off the bat? Maybe not, but everybody knows where Memphis is. So you put Memphis down to kind of get people in the general area. But no, this is the opposite of that. This is not what they're doing. What they're doing is they're skewing this rate per mile, right? It's posted for $1,400, which is above the 15-day, by the way. 543 miles, 258 a mile. And so if you're the guy or gal that focuses on the rate per mile, then you might be like, okay, cool. I need to be above 240, right? But then when you do the real miles, that's 543. So let's go back to their Memphis. Yeah, they never even posted it as Memphis, did they? Nope, it's all Dyersburg. And so it skews your deadhead too, right? It skews your deadhead. Now, so I'm not sure why that tactic exists. I really don't. Because like here, you got Nolan. They have their own load board, right? They have a book now button. I click on that, I can get on their website and book it from there. Okay. Now, never have I actually clicked on one of these book now things and it's not right on the cities. Okay. They're about $25 underneath the 15-day average. Not bad, but if you live in Chattanooga, this is a great load home. But it's not great for the whole weekend because obviously this will probably won't deliver till Monday. But I can easily go to Nolan's website and look at the times. Right? All right, so here's another one. Yeah, these are separate loads, and what you do is you look at the weights, right? If the weights are all the same, it's the same load. There's Landstar. These are separate loads. All right, here's another example. Here's FLS Transport. Same load, $800. Okay, posted 4 different ways: Dyersburg to Lenoir City, McKenzie, Tennessee to Jacksboro, Tennessee, Humboldt, Tennessee to Lenoir City, Tennessee, Milan, Tennessee to Lenoir City, Tennessee. I'm going to guess that that's probably where this is going. But look at the rate. It's all $800. It's all 20,000 pounds. Okay. One's 240 a mile, one's 268 a mile, one's 265 a mile, one's 272 a mile. That's why you can't be hung up on the rate per mile. Now, is it a gauge? Yes, it's one of the gauges you should be using to measure your the survivability of your business, but it's not the only measurement. I mean, a lot of people aren't even doing math at all, but that's just my guess is that's probably actually delivering to Lenoir City, Tennessee. And you're looking at, so the furthest deadhead is 70, or the furthest deadhead is 122. The smallest one is 75. So you know that the deadhead's going to be anywhere from 122 to 75. That's a big difference. That's like a whole half hour or maybe even an hour, depending on what kind of roads you got to go down. And so you can underestimate the time that it takes to get there, right? So, but that's one load. That's going to be one load. Now, the only reason why that might be, well, no, because the three cities are the same. And so as a new person to the spot market, that could be very overwhelming, right? You don't know these things. My eyes can pick this stuff out pretty quickly. Same thing with Jeff, right? He and I were both looking at the low board today trying to get a driver out of Michigan that just signed on with us. And a lot of them are email only, like this West Memphis Lockburn, 214 a mile, picks up at 8 p.m., right? And then delivers Monday at 10 a.m. That's a lot of time for this load, 584 miles. Now, if you live in Hawaii, or not Hawaii, Ohio, then that's a good, you can go home under that load. But then let's say you don't get unloaded till 12 or 1. Now you've lost a big part of Monday. So, and then not to mention at 8:00 at night, if there's an issue like a pickup number or something like that, which broker is going to answer the phone? And they also have a book now button, which is probably going to be a parade site. So that's AI. So is AI going to have your pickup number if it goes horribly awry, right? So, here's another one. Posted 3 times. Now, part of this, like this Memphis to Kingsville, Texas, this is Axle Logistics. 19,000 pounds. There is a different load here, but these 2 loads are probably 2 different agents. And this one agent's also got 2 of these Walnut, Mississippi to Roanoke, Virginias. And so now if we sort this by newest age, let's refresh this here. There's not a whole lot of new loads posting because it's late in the day, right? So let's do Chicago. Chicago for tomorrow. Look at that, 1,800 loads. Now, here's where that number is also skewed. 1875, 1,800 loads within a 125-mile radius of Chicago for tomorrow, okay? But if we go over to dashboard, what's it showing for Illinois? The outbound ratio, 628. But that's for today, right? So it shows you the difference of today and tomorrow. And so what happens on Fridays is that they're driving the rates down on Fridays, and they seem to have the leverage there. That was explained to me by a couple of brokers last Friday. Like, hey, I'm the only one with this lane, so take it or leave it. And because the driver wanted to go there, we had to take it. So, I mean, it was still a decent rate, but it wasn't as good as it could have been. Right? So let's sort this by highest rate. And this is going to be all your West Coast stuff, right? Now, when you change the sorting. Hi, wife.
Hi. I was just waiting to be acknowledged.
Well, I'm in deep thought here.
You're in this. Get off me, dog.
The dog doesn't like my wife talking to me. It's crazy. Now, when you have 1,800 loads, you can either narrow the search down, the radius down, or you can just sort it by different ways. So different ones are on top. Like right now, we've got $9,000 to go from Vernon Hills, Illinois to Tulalip, Washington. Okay, that's $435 a mile, right? Van with team, round trip, right? So this $435 a mile, divide that by 2, and it has to be a team. So it's probably out and back. Now, if you're a team, doesn't want to mess with the low board for a couple of weeks or for a week or whatever, go for it, right? So divide that by 2. you know, and notice they say no Landstar. 22 straps and blankets required. That's why it pays so well. It's round trip, needs a team. This is more of a specialized load. Here's another one. Bristol, Wisconsin to Tampa, Florida. Also 4,400. Oh, just canceled, just gone. No description, no, California, Oregon, Washington, California. You can go visit LVC out there. Good luck finding him because no one knows. Only one person I know knows what he looks like. And that's Pale Rider. Arizona. But see, look at the rate per mile: $1.59, $1.69, $1.66, $1.53. Now, the fact that they're paying $1.53 to California from Wisconsin tells me that outbound California freight sucks right now, because that used to be $1.20. That used to be $1.25. Same thing with the stuff going out to Washington and Arizona, right? So if we go back to our dashboard, well, it's showing more out than in California. So I'm wrong. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's more than one stop, right? So you can sit there and say, yeah, there's a lot of volume here. And I use that with the brokers. I'm like, oh man, there's 1,800 loads within 125 miles. I'll take my chances if I can't get my rate. Right? They don't know that I'm trying to get somewhere specific, right? So if I throw in Columbus here, no, let's not throw it. Let's do Atlanta. Now, the other trick is, let's say I'm going to land my truck on purpose in Chicago on Friday. Well, that means Thursday, it's going to be tough for me to get a rate going into Chicago, because they know the outbound volumes, because you got to understand that these brokers have so much information off your ELD, off your tracking apps, off your load board habits, that's, and so they have the leverage of information, right? $2,400 to go to Georgia. Now, really good paying loads going down to Georgia, which tells me it's going to be a little bit harder to get out of Georgia. Let's pick the highest one here. Let's do Darien, Wisconsin to Athens, Georgia. 2,400. They're above the 15-day. Van with team. There you go. There's your reason. Let's see. Rockford to Atlanta. They're right at the 15-day. So we've got a little bit of leverage here. Why? Because there's a ton of freight coming out of this area. Let's go to 1, 2, 3, and let's look at load availability here. Let's put this on Van, and let me acknowledge the comments you guys have been commenting. So I appreciate it. Red Lady, what's up? Patrick, hello. Cheap Freight, good evening from Ohio. TJ, what's up? LVC. Jeffrey Likes in the house. Thought I would stop by and say hi to all them real truckers out there. Hope there are some able to get home for Turkey Day. Yep, that's going to be the challenge next week. Really, you start preparing for that today, right? Because you don't want to land in, if you live in Wisconsin and want to be home by Wednesday, you don't want to land in Miami, Florida, chase some money. OTR Trucking, what's up? And I'm with the @ symbols, not your actual YouTube thing. I don't know how to change that. John Citrone, haven't seen you in minutes. I've been wondering how you've been doing, man. How's it going? Awesome. The old Snyder crew is still doing their own thing together. Yep. Yeah, we're still there. We still get a lot of Snyder ICs here. In and out, open an office in Tennessee for further nationwide expansion. That'd be cool. Um, those agents went to the TQL School of Freight Broker, and and it's frustrating when you need something specific. Look, 50 to 60 miles, I don't get upset about that. But there's been some where it literally adds 300 miles to the trip because they put a different origin and a different destination what the load what the load actually is. And a perfect example is I called Transfix one time on a load, and I was sitting there in Sullivan, Missouri. I just delivered at the Menards DC, and there's a load Sullivan to Indianapolis. Sweet. I'm right here in Sullivan, and there's a couple other shippers out of the area, and Menards might need something moved, right? So I'm like, all right. So I call him up. Hey, I'm interested in your load picking up in um, Sullivan, Missouri, going to Indianapolis. And he's like, all right, yeah, hold on. Let me see if we still got it. Hey, so and so, is that St. Louis to Chicago still available? Yeah. Okay, so this is St. Louis to Chicago. I said, no, that's not the one I wanted. I wanted Sullivan. It didn't dawn upon me what he was doing. He goes, yeah, that's how, until he told me. He goes, yeah, that's how we posted it. And so I grabbed my second phone. I'm doing the math. It's like it added an extra 200 miles and puts me in a different market than what I wanted to be. Not to mention the deadhead from Sullivan to St. Louis. I was like, no, I called on a Sullivan to Indianapolis. So thank you for your time. And I never booked a Transfix load after that. And I ended up talking to one of their main guys up at Matt's. I think the last time I went. Oh, sir, we don't do that. I'm like, you do it all the time. Well, if you ever see that, here's my business card. You can call me personally. Like this big CEO dude was going to give me his personal cell phone number, right? And and look, I understand some of it, but I don't understand all of it. There's a way to, like, if you're trying to draw somebody into a market or out of a market, that I get that. But the whole completely different, you're wasting my time, especially when I need to put something specific, which is a lot. Because sometimes as a dispatcher, I'm treated like a short order cook. I need this, and exactly this. Okay. Well, here's your choice of 3 loads. What's up, Kevin? Hope you're doing well. Everywhere is Hawaii if you're drunk enough, right? Everybody's saying hi to the wife. Sterling says, greetings from Springfield. Can't stop and say hi on my way to Oklahoma. If Chicago to Miami pays $3, shouldn't Miami to Chicago pay $3? No, it doesn't. Because of supply and demand. You know that. You're being funny. But you understand that. Something Conway, that's not too far from here. So, anyways, this is a hot market map for 123. Look at Colorado be green. Let's check this out. No posted rates. Let's sort this by rate per overall rate. Let's see where the big money is. Ooh, $1.79 to go to Florida. Ooh, $3,600. Is that beer? I bet you that's beer. Oh, it's hay. You want nothing to do with this. No roll doors. Take a photo of the hay after loading before they close the doors. I don't know if you haven't lived until you've cleaned out a trailer that hold hay. Or Christmas trees for that matter. Christmas trees are shipping right now. So a lot of in advance. Also, a lot of trees, if they're going in a van, they have to be iced down so they don't dry out. Now, check this out. You have California freight sales with Winstore See, they're doing the same thing here. Are these the same dates? November 20th? No, they got one for each day. They got two for tomorrow. California Freight Sales obviously has a shipper out of Windsor, Colorado that they're doing, right? And so if you ever have to get to New York, or if you ever get in Colorado and you're willing to go anywhere, you develop a relationship with this broker, right? Depending on what the product is this hay as well? No, it just says GC. They will not load you. Driver is a work-in loading, whatever that means. So that was supposed to pick up today. That was posted an hour ago. I doubt it's even covered. I had a couple of brokers call me. Hey, you got anybody in Colorado? So what's interesting is I look at this map and I'm like, I kind of already lived this, right? Let's see. Let's see what's coming out of Wisconsin. 276 loads out of Wisconsin. See what the highest paying thing is. Ooh, 260 mile, go down to Florida. They're at 33. Average is at 37. That puts you pretty far south. In Florida. Then you got 31 to go to Mountain Home, Idaho. Check the weather. California, Nevada. See, a lot of the stuff that's still here is the stuff that no one wants to cover. California, Idaho, Arizona, West Colorado, Here's one, Brookhaven, Mississippi. This would be a good load. Supposed to pick up today. This is 8+ hour posting, so they probably didn't pull it down if they didn't cover it. If they did cover it. But they're above the average, so now look at the name here. There might be a language barrier issue calling on this load. So that's why I prefer the email. That way I can see clearly instead of misunderstanding someone on what the product is, the dates and times and all that. Do we haul alcohol? It depends. If the state doesn't require a permit, then yes. There's only, I think, one driver that won't do alcohol for religious reasons. But you go to a website. I did a video on it. Find it. I did a video on the website where you go and you find out if you need a permit to go in, through, or out of the state. Tolga, can you find me a beer load from Turkey through there, please, so we can drink some beers all together? That would be cool. Unfortunately, I don't think that's going to happen. You have to come over here. You guys got earthquakes and all kinds of stuff going on around you. All right, so BMAX got a Horicon in Stillwater. This is going to be John Deere. Yep, 5 stops. That's why it's such a good rate. It might take you, okay, so now it says pick up Monday. Let's pretend this picked up today, okay? First stop's in Winterset, Iowa, not very far. And so it takes you more time to get, when you finally get down to Stillwater, this might be a 3-day load. Well, $2,500 for 3 days, or actually it'd be 5, really. If you don't get this off till Wednesday and it picked up Friday, tomorrow, then that's a lot of days on a $2,500 load, right? But this picks up Monday, and if you can get it done by Wednesday, that's 2,500 divided by 3. So What's he chewing?
He got a hold of that wallet boy.
Oh,
He was over there in the corner and he came out and he had it. I don't know.
oh, you should probably take that away and.
I like my hands attached to my hearts though, so like I reached
Well,
for
get
it.
his other squeaky toys in the bag.
Oh, in the
Like maybe bribe him. We're having dog drama here.
dog drama.
There you go. Nope. Hey, hey, come here. Come here.
He dropped it for a second.
Come here. Right here. Come here. You want a treat? Hey. All right. Sorry. He had something he shouldn't have, so he didn't swallow it. Here's the pair Wisconsin to Calhoun, Georgia. This picks up tomorrow. This would be a good load. Does deliver till 10 a.m. on Monday. So depending on who the customer is, you might get that off early. So obviously a good paying lane is Chicagoland, Wisconsin to Georgia, right? So but anyways, the whole spam thing, it's very frustrating when you're trying to sort through 20 choices and 19 of them are the same load posted by one broker for a ridiculous price and the MC number doesn't even exist. See if I can find one of those. There was a lot of DAT brokers that showed 0 for the MC number today. If it's in all caps, that's usually a red flag. Here, let's do this. Let's do Los Angeles. Because it seems like a lot of scam freight comes out of Los Angeles. $1,600 loads. So let's do a 50-mile radius. Man, we're still at 1192. Wow. That's crazy. Okay, close. Get it. 6,200 to go to New York. Trying to find a good example. I should have taken a screenshot earlier. See, what I do is I scan through this side here, right? All right, here we go. Here's one. City of Industry, California, picking up between 9 and 5. 24/7 appointment only. Gmail account. And they have an MC number, 7-digit MC number, which means that they're a newer MC number. And they're a lot higher than what they are. So let me do this here. Let me type in their MC number here. No records found. Right? So there you go. So someone who's inexperienced might go, oh, wow, that's paying really good. Going to a good market. Not realizing that that Gmail account is kind of a red flag. And the factoring company has never heard of these people. No records found. And how did I spot that? Well, number one, the Gmail account's right there. Number two, all caps. Letters in all caps. Oh, my phone's about to die. Hold on. Let's look up this Here's another one. It's above the 15-day. This one says need empty truck on Thursday, but it picks up tomorrow 6 a.m. In other words, they don't want to take any chances, all right? So let's type these guys in. This is one of the benefits you have of factoring. And if you don't factor, it's understandable, but get some kind of way to credit check. It's actually there. Well, they're green. There you go. So that's actually a legit load, providing that their account didn't get hacked. Yeah, so there we go. Here's another one. Santa Ana to Elgin, Illinois. LA to Chicago. LA to Elgin. Anaheim to Elgin. Anaheim to Elgin. Same load, same weight. Let's click on one of these. Whoops. Restaurant equipment. 12 to 20 straps. E-track needed. Now, they do have a book now link, which is a positive thing, but another 7-digit number. So let's look them up. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be live tomorrow morning, which is why I'm live now. I got to get my algorithms back up. So if you don't mind, hit the thumbs up. These guys are also green, so that's good. So a lot of good freight coming out of California. Now, let's put this to Denver. But see, you need 12 to 20 straps. So you kind of need a logistics trailer for that. So I say a good load, but now there's 225 loads within a 50-mile radius of Denver, Colorado. $1.74 to Miami. That's kind of high for Colorado. 2 drops. So 2 drops. There you go. And they're not even at the 15-day. Right? Van with team for $4.76 a mile. Picks up at 345. Van with team. Deadhead to SLC, Utah. See, so there you go. There's another one, right? You think it's $4.76 a mile, but it's not. It's actually picking up in Salt Lake City, Utah, not Denver. Right? Is there not enough trucks in Denver or in Salt Lake City? So you have to do this. How far is it from Denver, Colorado to Salt Lake City, Utah? $520 miles. Okay. So let's say we're sitting in Denver. Well, that's almost a day's drive. Okay. So you call on this load, you're frustrated because you're tired of looking at all the cheap beer loads, and oh man, this one's $4 a mile, $3,200. Right? No, let's add 672 plus 520. That's 1192. So 3,200 divided by 1192. That's still 268 a mile. But it's a van with team, right? So they're figuring, oh well, first shift can take that, but last I checked, Denver always has better outbound volumes than Salt Lake City. So why are you trying to draw from Salt Lake City if your freight's not in Denver? Right? Denver to Forest Park for $1.55 a mile. Now, one of these, I'm not going to say who it was, but one of these brokers I just saw is the one that got me with the bad link. But I don't want to say who it is just in case it was someone hacked their account. I don't want to like it was, I don't think it was the broker themselves. I think it was someone that was able to hack into their DAT account. Here's another one. Circle Logistics. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 postings. And it's either Commerce City, Colorado to Pasadena, or it's Denver to Houston. Now, the weights are different, so they might have multiple loads, but some are generic weights, right? Here's 3 more postings. 3 more going to Oklahoma City. Another one going to Oklahoma City. Right? So you have to take these numbers with a grain of salt. Right? They'll just sit, and I made this mistake. I'm like, oh, there's 300 loads. Come to find out that 200 of them didn't even exist. So it was like, okay, so here's a ride. They've got this posted 3 times. But I can go to their website and look at the actual times. They haven't posted them here. And so there's a book now link. I can go to their website and I can wheel and deal from there. And one of the challenges that new drivers to the spot market face is like, well, they don't post any rates. They don't post any times. Posting a rate is not a big deal if you know what you need and you know what the lane's paying. So if we scroll down, let's find one of these loads that's not showing a rate, right? Here's Golden, Colorado to Devil's Lake, North Dakota. 890 miles. 15-day on this, $14.95. The range is $13.53 to $16.91. So if I go to 123 and go to their market rates, what was it? Golden to Devil's Lake. They're showing a little bit higher, but there's not many. Like this range shows that there's not many reports giving you this number. So, but this gives you your toll cost, it gives you your estimated fuel and profit. Right. So how would I price this? Well, if I lived in North Dakota, I'd be a little bit more, well, I don't know. How would you price this? Like how would you price this? Right now, the 15 days on this at $14.95. Now you could sit there and say, well, I'm going to get $2,000 for this, but will you? What they're hoping is for somebody that doesn't have that number in their head. Because, like, let's say I call on this load and I go, I need 2,100. They know right away that I'm inexperienced. I don't know the market. I don't know what I'm doing. Click, goodbye, see ya. You don't know what you're doing. Good luck to you, right? But if I still don't know what I'm doing, but I'm desperate to move, I might say 1100 if I don't know my numbers. Okay. That's why I try not to set the anchor first. And that's how negotiations go sometimes. If I call this, they might go, well, or it picks up, blah, blah, blah. It goes here, blah, blah, blah. It delivers this time, blah, 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 blah. Where do you think you're at on that, sir? I don't know. Do you have a number in mind? What's your target rate? When we play this game a little bit. Now, some people say that it's one gives an advantage over the other. Who sets the anchor first? To me, if I have to set the anchor, I'm going to set it high, but not aggressively high. Depending on what it is. If I'm going into Denver, I'm going to do it aggressive, right? I've gotten $1,000 for a one and done load, more than what the 15-day is going into Denver. Okay. Coming out, that's a different story. Now, if I call him, he goes, well, yeah, this is 4 stops, picks up at 1 a.m., all the stops are at 6 a.m., and you need 10 straps, then I've got a little bit of leverage, right? If I have all that, if I'm willing to do all that. But if it's literally, and this, it shows the weight at 39, this is probably a beer load. If it's a beer load or Pepsi or Coke, it's probably, it's Pepsi. Pick it up, open window, delivers, open window, no detention, given, blah, blah, blah. They might be at 1,200. If it's bricks, it's going to be 1,000. Brick loads always pay low. Always, always, always. Unless it's some boutique brick place going to Menards. That's the only time I've ever made money hauling bricks. Cheap Freight says, Oregon and Washington are drawing trucks from Salt Lake City. Take a short load from Salt Lake City, then grab a load from Oregon or come back east. Now, it does no good to really kind of go over what's available right now because a lot of these are going to change. Here's TQL, right? Here's TQL. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 postings. And they're all Aurora to Cincinnati, Denver to Cincinnati, Denver to Louisville, Boulder to Cincinnati, Boulder to Louisville. Now, sometimes it's fun to play the game. Which one's the correct one? I'm going to guess it's the Boulder to Cincinnati. Now, the good agents will put what it really is in the comments, so I don't have a surprise. So I'm not doing math on the fly. So I'm not asking the second phone, the mapping of what they just told me, right? And they know they're doing it because do you want the zip code? Sometimes I make them do the work. Oh, that doesn't pick up in Boulder. It picks up in blah, blah, Colorado. How far is that from Denver? And then they got to look it up, right? And so some agents have figured out, well, we kind of don't like that. So they'll be a little bit more realistic on it. Is that this might say it picks up Friday, but it might actually pick up Saturday or Sunday or Monday. That game's played quite a bit. This actually picks up Monday. Well, I need a load today. I need a load now. And you've littered the load board with stuff that doesn't pick up until Monday. If I wanted Monday, I would have put Monday. And I caught one time I caught them in a lie. Hey, I'm just sitting here load picking up in Indianapolis at going to Denver. The guy was like, yeah, it picks up today or Monday. Okay, what time does it pick up? They're there until 5 p.m. Suspicious. So I said, thanks for your time. That's not what I'm looking for. Then I called a different agent over there. Yeah, this picks up Monday, open till 3. Like complete, but it was the same thing. It was the same load. So you really have to be careful of the Friday shenanigans to get those Monday's loads covered, because sometimes the guy's sitting there at his office. He's got the screen full of loads that need to go on Monday, and he wants to have a good weekend. He doesn't want to try to work Saturday to get those moved. And so they'll post Monday loads for Friday. And sometimes they'll do it where, like, oh yeah, this open window pickup to open delivery. Then you get the Raycon, it says Monday instead of and not Friday. And then when you catch them on it, like, oh yeah, you can give the low back. It's not a problem. It won't count against you. Yeah, but you've literally wasted a half an hour of my time. Right. Meanwhile, loads are flying off the shelf faster than you can call them. Right. And that's overwhelming to a new person in the spot market. So I try to help people through all that. And so a lot of times when I'm looking at low board, it could be 1, 2, 3, 2. I'm filtering, right? I'm filtering like almost instantaneous. Like here's Memphis to anywhere. But all these brokers, I know these brokers. Like Red Classic obviously has a bunch of loads out of West Memphis, going Kentucky. But see that they're doing the same thing here. You have Lockburn, Ohio posted. Holy crap. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But these are for different dates too. So let's do this. Let's do this for. Let's do this for tomorrow, right? Now, one of the things I like about 123 is that I can find the brokers that seem to have the steady freight for the next month. You guys have seen that, right? In my videos. Let's do this for today, tomorrow, and we'll do Saturday too. Yep, Red Classic seems to have a shipper in West Memphis. So let's click on one of these. It picks up tomorrow night. Playing with fire there. But see, I like that because it's telling me the time. So if I don't, like, let's say I got a truck that's going to empty out like late afternoon, then yeah, this might be a good load. I'm going to snag this first thing in the morning. However, if I don't want anything to do with that, I know right off the bat. So this doesn't waste my time. I know that this won't work for me, right? It is almost freeze protect. It is in some places. We had to have a truck stay south for load, so they could protect from freeze. We had to check the weather. Maybe we'll do a video about how to do that. A lot of freight coming out of the Memphis area. So for tomorrow. Now I'm scrolling through all these. Here's one for Saturday. Bloomfield, Missouri, Groveport, Ohio. That might be a good one if you're landing in like Memphis on a Friday night. It's a parade email. So this is a parade thing. So you can probably go to parade and look at it yourself. You can see the times. Oh, they've got the times here. It picks up 10 a.m. Saturday morning, delivers Sunday morning at 6:30. That is approximately 502 miles. Look at the rate, though. Look how low it is. That's not a good rate to go from Missouri to Ohio. They're at $1.42, but the computers, the AI might say that you can get away with this because people who are looking for loads on Saturday are desperate, right? So, West Plains. This is going to be charcoal going to San Antonio. I bet you that's going. HEB. It's probably going to HEB. How do I know? Because I've done that load many times. A lot of wood pellets are coming out of West Plains and Mountain View, Missouri. Ozarks has a lot of wood pellets, pellet fuel loads this time of year. So, anyways, I want to apologize for the lack of live feeds. I've been super busy every morning. It seems like if I don't get a handle on it, like at 6 o'clock in the morning, man, the day just gets away from me and I'm struggling to find freight for the trucks. Booking ahead is great, but there's literally almost no negotiation booking a day or 2 days ahead. And there's a lot of cancellations. I booked a load yesterday out of Louisiana going back to Arizona, and it canceled on me. Luckily, I had enough time to recover. So, because I really needed to get that truck to Arizona. So, but I apologize for the lack of live feeds. I've actually recorded a couple of members only videos. I just haven't uploaded them yet. But anyways, the dog's going nuts. Like Jeff always says, start over, right? SST, what's up? All right. Well, thank you for watching, you guys. We're gonna call it a day. I have to make another phone call before I sign off on this computer. And like I said, no, I doubt I'll try to go live tomorrow morning, but maybe I'll try tomorrow afternoon or so. There's a lot going on at the Like Trucking Camp, so it's been pretty busy for both Jeff and I. It's always busy for Jeff, but it's increased to me as well. With that being said, strength for today, hope for tomorrow, and oops, and I didn't time that right. Dang it. Strength for today, over tomorrow. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Peace.